is scary right now. Raw activation? Oh, got the jump in! It's not quite over, not quite over. One more choice, and no Oki because of the B trigger. Lariat to seal the deal. The patience from Stu. Shakes his hand. Ooh, that man heart rate got to be pumping right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Born Free here at NorCal Regionals, and I am with Happy Stupendous? Stupendous. I always think of you as Stupendous, but then that suddenly popped into my head. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired today, but having a great time at NCR, walking around downtown Sacramento, enjoying the quaint sights. It's pretty fun. I like it.
How did the tournament go?
Tournament was very, very difficult. Very lot of high tier top pro players, drowning in pools, a lot of competition, fierce competition, a lot of exciting matches, a lot of the same characters in the top 32. But I would say I had a great time watching, enjoying, and just talking to people.
All right, so we'll get on to characters and stuff like that. First thing I want to ask you is, where does the name Stupendous come from?
So I remember I was watching this episode of Simpsons, and like there's a boxer named Jedrick Tatum, and like he was talking to someone while he was boxing, talking about like I think a cooking recipe, and then he said something like blah 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 blah. It's stupendous, and he said it in such a hilarious way. I was like, that's a funny word, and then I'm like, oh, stupendous is not actually a bad word. It's kind of cool. So that's pretty much where I got it from.
And so, did you make it a gamer tag and then it stuck, or yeah, you took it to tournaments? Like what was...
I just made it as a gamer tag. Like I think I was playing like a video game where you had to make like a character name, and then I just started using Stupendous.
And then that was it.
That was it.
I love hearing those stories. So let's talk about fighting games, history and fighting games. What was the first fighting game that you ever played, and then which one was the one that you first started to take seriously, and why?
First fighting game I ever played was probably like, I think Street Fighter 2. Back when arcades were at like donut shops and 7-Elevens. And I think I was like a little kid. I think I went to like a bowling alley with my parents, and they gave me some quarters because they saw arcades, and I just put a quarter in. I played this game called Street Fighter 2, and I lost terribly, but then I kept asking my parents for money. But then I think that's how I started playing Street Fighter. At least that's what I remember when I was like, I think 7 years old. But anyways, when I started getting to it competitively was around 5 years ago. I think around 2013 or 12. A couple of coworkers approached me and said, "Hey Frankie, we're not getting any younger," and this is right after Evo for Street Fighter 4. Yeah. And they said, "We're not getting any younger, but we want to see how far we can push ourselves one year to see how good we can get at this game." Right? So I'm like, okay, I'm down. Let's do this. And this is when I was just a casual player. I just played Street Fighter 4 online. But we made up a regimen. We were like, all right, Tuesdays we practice at a friend's house. Wednesday we go to this thing called Wednesday Night Fights. At the time I didn't know what it was. Right? And then Friday we practice again, and Saturday we come up with tech. So we lab it up. So it's basically 4 days of practice for one whole year straight. After half a year, half my friends dropped out. Right? Yeah. Me and a couple of friends stuck with the program. Yeah. And so it's basically from 1 year after Evo to the next year to see how good we can push ourselves to become competitive at Street Fighter 4. I think it was AE 2012 at the time. So at the same time, I had a money bet with my friend. All right? He paid El Forte. I paid Zangief. Yeah. All right? He's like, at the end of this year, Frankie, I want to money match you $100 to see if you can win. Yeah. All right? I'm like, okay. At the time, though, I wanted to get good with my character and not just beat him. Yeah. Right? Because if I get good with my character, I can possibly beat him. If I spent a year just trying to beat him, I probably will beat him, but like I might not be good with my character. So for one whole year straight, I went to Wednesday Night Fights playing Street Fighter 4. I went 0-2, 0-2, 0-2, 0-2. I lost every single tournament I went to until like maybe a few months in. And my first character was not actually Zangief. It was actually Seth, Zangief, and Sagat. Oh, okay. All right. I remember the first tournament I remember playing for Street Fighter 4 was a GameStop tournament when the game launched, right? And then everyone was playing on the Xbox controller. And I couldn't really do focus attacks, dash cancels on the Xbox controller. So I picked Zangief. I'm like, I could play Zangief on a controller. It's easy, right? And then I started playing more and more. And when I went to Wednesday Night Fights, I realized I can't concentrate on 3 characters. It's too much, especially when I'm trying to learn the game, like as a competitive player. So I dropped Sagat, and I kept Seth and Zangief because with Zangief, right, I'm trying to learn fundamentals here. because Zangief is lacking a lot of things, but one thing he really needs to really good with is fundamentals. And there was someone in the scene called Snake Eyes. I think we all know who Snake Eyes is. Yeah. He was very like very crucial in like me developing my game plan, because I was always watching play. I would always ask him questions like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? And like he would always help me out. So like I would like to thank him for like being there for me and helping me develop. And then my other character was Seth. I'm like, okay, so if I can learn how to play defensive fundamentals with Zangief, maybe I can learn how to play offensive and dirty with Seth, right? So I can kind of learn those two at the same time, have a secondary character for Zangief's bad matchups. Eventually, I just stuck with Zangief because I'm like, hey, Seth is kind of like, kind of dirty, kind of fraud in a way, but he's still a legit character. But I feel like I could learn more and take much more in as a Zangief player. That's pretty much how I started about 5 years ago. And then that year, the next year when I went to Evo, I think I got 65th place, which was like much higher than I thought I'd ever do. And ever since then, I just kept going to Wednesday night fights, kept training, kept playing, kept going to Evo, kept going to majors.
What was the attraction of Zangief? Because I mean, like there isn't a million Zangief players, you know, and to me, you know, it was definitely not my type of character. It's like slow, lumbering, you know, whatever. But without a doubt, it takes a lot of skill to play as Zangief. What was the attraction?
Zangief is kind of like a bully. Like he's like a slow-moving wall. Kind of focuses on making your opponents mess up. So it's pretty much a very reactionary character in Street Fighter 4 at least. And he also had a lot of dirty mix-ups. Like he would do these cross-ups that you don't know if it's from the front or back. Also, Snake Eyes was there. So like he's pretty much very. I had someone to look up to in the scene, like to really help me develop as a player, and I had a character to learn from as well. Seth, I didn't really have too many players that can really help me get with a strong Seth, but there was a guy named Online Tony. He had a good Seth, but Snake Eyes was always there, and he was super helpful. So I had those two guys to look up to. But Zangief, I think he's a very funny character. Like if you played Street Fighter 5 story mode, the cinematic, I forgot what it's called, Shadow Falls, I think it was called. Zangief was pretty much like, I don't want to say he's the clown, but he is definitely the comic relief in the game. He would always come in and flex his muscles, and you just laugh when you see him play. And I think he's that type of character where people go, what? And other people go be like, ha ha ha. And I think I like that kind of emotional reaction from a character. Got it.
Yeah, I think it's important to be emotionally attached to your character, because I think it makes you want to play better, you know? That's the experience I've had from like talking to so many different people about their characters. Let's talk about the game, Street Fighter 5. So what are your thoughts on AE right now? We're in the sort of third iteration, I guess, the season 3. You know, it got rid of throw loops. What are your thoughts on where we're at? What do you like about the game? And are there things that you feel like, oh, I would love to see this change or improved or whatever?
Season 3 is got some interesting balance changes. Got some awesome characters that are not fully out yet. I feel like Street Fighter 5. Okay, so when I think of Street Fighter, I think of a 2-player game. I do something, you react. You do something, I react. And then we hit the next layer. You know I did something. I know you're gonna react like this. I do something else. That's Street Fighter, right? At least that's what I believe Street Fighter is. In Street Fighter 5, I feel like the best characters are playing the 1-player game. Where?
Oh, what does that mean?
That means my offense is so oppressive that you have to keep guessing on how to block, right? So I don't want to say which characters. I guess I will. Like we look at characters with very strong comeback factors or V-triggers. And those comeback factors basically say, you're going to have to hold this, and you're going to have to keep blocking. And if you block every single thing right, then you might win. But if you guess wrong once, you will die, right? In Street Fighter 4, we had the revenge mechanic called the, I think it was called the revenge meter, where you get an ultra, which is like another super. In Street Fighter 5, we have the V meter, which gives you the V trigger, which every character has a very different, very, very different V trigger. Some are better than others. Some are just straight useless. All right. Season 3, we have 2 V triggers now. All right. Some are useless compared to the first one. Some are straight better than the first one, and some are just as bad as the first one. And I think Season 3, I like the addition of V triggers. I still think that the better performing characters are the one-player game characters, and I think we can generally see that throughout the results of the tournament so far.
So which characters are those?
Manat because of Vichigger, Abigail because of Abigail, Rashid because of Rashid. Akuma is not as easy to see with Akuma, but definitely Akuma. Cammy, ever since season 1. Who else? I think that's off the top of my head. I know there's at least 1 or 2 more that are definitely those characters that make you just sit there and hold block and guess.
All right, so let's talk about your character, Zangief. Where does he fit into this sort of tier list at the moment?
I thought Zangief was okay. I thought he was pretty good in season 2.5, right? But then he got hit with the hammer pretty hard in season 3. I would say they made him so bad. They made him so bad. I would say he's pretty low on the tier list. Not only because of the characters in season 2 that just made him even worse, but because of the balance changes that made it harder for him to get in. He can't link jab jab anymore. I don't know any character in the game that cannot link jab jab, except for him. I should do some more digging, but he just got a lot of his tools nerfed. Global nerfs hurt him really bad too. And I remember there was a global nerf in season 1 or 2, I forgot, that gray health recovery was reduced.
Yeah. Right?
And Zangief, all his moves has gray health built into it. Flex, EX ring bear grab, whatever, right? Yeah. So that Fierce Punch gets gray health when he absorbs a hit. That got nerfed, so the global nerf hurt him. The command grab global nerf, which means you get more recovery on whiffing a command grab, that hurt him the most, I think. Also, he just got some, I think, unwarranted nerfs that, whether for whatever reason or another, just did him really bad. And then I think he was better in season 1 than he is in season 3, because in season 1, he didn't have as many hard matchups. But when season 2 came in, like every character just straight out was not great to him. So now that season 3 is out, along with his nerf, I think he's not in a really good spot. Funny thing is, in season 2.5, people told me to pick up a secondary. So I picked up Balrog. I'm like, okay, for Zangief's bad matchups, I'll pick up Balrog. Balrog's fun. Balrog's good. Balrog kind of plays a one-player game, right? And then season 3 came out, and Balrog got hit with some nerfs. I mean, his nerfs are kind of bad, but not terrible. Like, not to the point where he's crippling. But he's still kind of bad. So I'm playing with 2 nerfed characters right now. So I might have to switch to a third. I don't know, season 3. I don't know.
So do you, I mean, everyone associates you with Zangief, obviously, but I think a lot of players have been switching, trying other characters, or maybe just having, like, you know, I'll have my one character for certain matchups and I'll have a secondary, right? Do you have any characters in mind, like, that you would switch to? Like, would you switch to, right, these are the strongest, I really need a strong character? Or would you switch to, this one is most intriguing to me for various reasons?
I think the reason really depends on why I'm playing this game and what is my goal when I play. Like, originally, I wanted to have fun. I just want to have fun. I want to play with Zangief. I want to win with Zangief because winning with Zangief is fun. But I'm traveling to compete, and, like, ultimately, I don't think I'm ever gonna make it to the Capcom Cup unless I, like, study very hard, play every day. But that's not really what I want to do. But it really sucks coming to a major and just, like, losing to some guy that just picked up a secondary just to counter your character, which did happen. This example happened exactly today, which the other guy admits, which is hilarious because we're friends and all. But I mean, it really feels bad when you're playing with a character that's not so great and you really want to do well with them, but it's no matter what you do, it's like, and you see your role models and the other characters you look up to, the other players that are using your characters look up to, switch to another character. I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? So I think I don't have a choice. If I want to keep, I mean, I could keep playing Zangief and trying to prove to the world, hey, I can do this. We can do this, guys. Geef Nation, right? Or I can just let everyone know this character's dead and just, like, pick Abigail or something. Let Capcom know, hey, Capcom, you want top 32 to be, like, 16 Abigails? Well, then let's do that. Let's do that, because I think that's the point that is heading right now, where we're gonna have top 32 is nothing but the top 10 characters in the game, and we might have 1 or 2 players that are really, really strong with Nash or maybe like Zeku, maybe, I don't know about that, and just like throw people off, and people go, oh yeah, look, Nash could do it, Zeku can do it. But then when you look at the other rest of the players, they're using like other characters that are like pretty much, if you really want to do well in this game, you have to kind of either work crazy hard with one character or just, you know, work hard with a better character.
So is there anything that you think, like, if you gave Zangief this and this, he would work? Or do you think that there's just been too many of the so-called global changes to the point where he doesn't have a chance?
I mean, Zangief already has everything he needs to win. His name is Abigail. I think Abigail kind of made Zangief in Season 3 obsolete. 100% obsolete. He can do everything better than... Everything he can do better than Zangief, I think. His comeback potential is higher. His health is higher. His... he has combos. His fierce punches. Everything is better. I mean, it's really hard to not make another Abigail if you want to make Zangief better. I mean, if you want to keep the same Zangief playstyle, then he needs to have better mobility. He needs to have better ways to get in, because right now the number one thing that Zangief can't do is get in and convert, because like he doesn't have combos really, because he can't jab. All
right, well there you go. I feel for you, I really do, because you know, when you're a character loyalist, it sucks, man. I had this similar conversation with a lot of different people about various characters. So let's talk about a couple of things which are sort of in the news. One of those things is, I guess, this idea that esports is killing the FGC. It's a big topic, but do you have any thoughts around that in regards to how, I mean, I would call them growing pains, and some things are definitely going to change. That's just the way it is. What are your thoughts on this idea that the esports is killing the FGC?
I remember going to the arcades when there's still like a lot of them around, and like when there would be a lot of people playing, and then people would just be waiting there with quarters, watching the top dog just take out everyone one by one, and then everyone's just kind of cheering, going, "Yeah, yeah." And I'm like, "Oh wow, you can't really mimic that." You know what I mean? That slight bond, rivalry, random people just coming out of nowhere and just beating people up, and then like. And then slowly, like, you start seeing Street Fighter become more, I don't want to say commercialized, but more structured, I guess. Tournament formats, rules, sponsored players, attitudes, things you need to keep in check for yourself if you want to at least be noticed to do well. And I don't know, I feel like esports is a great thing because... I mean, it brings more play. I think it brings more viewers, more players, more visibility to the game, the scene, and everything. But I think it also takes away from the fact that some people can't really be themselves, be who they are, when these things are in check, right? Like when you're playing in your garage with your friends, you can be as rowdy as you want. You can be whoever you are. But then when there's a scene and a spotlight over you, or if there is people that you really want to be on their good side, you kind of have to behave a certain way, and that, I think, and that expectation is kind of what is taking away from the rawness of the FGC. Yeah.
So, who are your favorite players or favorite player to watch right now, and why?
It's always going to be Snake Eyes, because I always want to see how he's doing with his current character, which currently is Abigail, I think, right? Also, I like watching Problem X because he's having such a good time playing Abigail. Also, Itazan switched to Abigail too, and he's also having a great time playing Abigail. Same for Storm Kubo, and I guess Infiltration, because his style is very unique. I like it when he plays. He's always I can't explain, the way he plays is so solid and precise. Another player I also like watching play is Nakodu, because he's pretty much I think he's like, he plays such a solid and crazy game where when I ever watch a player play, right, I kind of want to see if I can mimic their decisions. And Nakodu always throws me off with his decision making. I'm just like, he's that far ahead in steps, where and like his results shows for it. You know what I mean? So like every time I watch him, right, I'm trying to like pick apart the player's brain, and he's like one of the players I can't pick. It's kind of interesting, and he's definitely playing the 2-player game, and he's really good at it.
Yeah, yeah, he's a special kind of talent, that's for sure. All right, so we talked a little bit about your past training schedule. Do you have a training schedule now? I know you stream a lot. Like, how does it all work out?
So the funny thing about my training schedule is, right, having a full-time job isn't easy. Oh, no, having a full-time job and playing Street Fighter and competing is not easy. And I told myself, how am I going to make myself play this game when all my friends don't play this game? All right? Because all my friends that originally started with this plan 5 years ago, I don't think they play this game, right? Or at least competitively. So I need a reason to train and to get better at this game while competing at Wednesday Night Fights and traveling majors. So I'm like, you know what? I see other people stream. I think I can do it. I start streaming, and then I'm like, okay, I'm streaming now. Now I have to play. So streaming was a reason for me to train in this game. And training in this game was a reason for me to stream. I'm like, hey, this kind of works out. So I would say streaming is my way of training. And also going through videos when I'm not streaming. But other than that, talking to my friends about decisions, about how you play this game, theory crafting. This is a 1-player game, this is a 2-player game, this is a 1 character. A lot of little things, but I think streaming is the most amount of time I put into this game.
So let's talk a little bit about streaming, actually. That's a nice segue. How long have you been streaming for now? When did you start the IRL streams, and how much of that do you do?
So originally I started streaming from a computer because I want to see if I can even do that. All right. And then I was like, you know what? I remember watching Arturo do a Periscope stream on a major. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like a behind the scenes look at how a major should be like. Right. And I'm like, so that kind of inspired me to be like, I think I can do this. All right. I travel to a lot of majors. I kind of want people to have a behind the scenes look at what it's like to be at a major without being at a major. Right. Because a lot of people don't see what goes on in a major because all they see is from the mainstream. And right. And a lot of the secondary matches, which are a lot of secondary good matches that are on the mainstream, needs to be seen. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to a major. I'm going to drown in pools. Hopefully not. And then once I'm done, I'm just going to stream the rest of the event because I think there is a crowd. There is a spectatorship for this. Some people do want to watch this. And that's why I decided, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to just try RL stream it at home, see if I could do it. Oh, look, I could do this. Try several apps, try some equipment, see which is the best. And after that, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. So then I think I started streaming, I think about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 1.5 years ago. And then after, I think maybe a few months in, I started trying to do IRL. And then I think first IRL was NCR of last year, which is a year ago. And I think it's been doing okay since because I think a lot of people do enjoy it. And they do appreciate seeing what actually goes on at a major.
I certainly remember you doing it last year here. Is it, I'm just interested in IRL, actually doing IRL, is it tough and tiring to do, or is it easy, or like when you actually go about, you know, because I see you wandering around with your arm up and I'm thinking his arm must be aching, like must be really aching.
It's so tiring.
Is it?
Today, okay, let's talk about yesterday. Yesterday I woke up at 10 a.m. for pools. Yeah. All right, I didn't make it out. Afterwards I got some lunch, took a shower, laid in bed for like an hour, and then got up and started streaming for about 6 hours. Oh wow. All right, I'm so tired. All right, and then after the tournament, I just got dinner, laid in bed, woke up at 2 a.m., went to the venue, and just see who was playing. I didn't even want to stream the after hours because I was so tired. Yeah. Right, but there's so much content that you need to get. You just want to record that you can't get it all, and you're just too tired to do it. Yeah. And then holding the camera, the gimbal, the phone, everything. It takes a lot out of you, and then you have to worry about Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi wasn't that great, so I gotta stick with like my mobile connection. Yeah. And then depending on the bit rate you're uploading to, you might crash. I crashed like 10 times, so then I had to load the bit rate, so the quality was compromised, and then but it was good enough, so it was stable. It's a lot of things you have to worry about just to make sure that you can, you know, bring a consistent stream to the viewers. Yeah,
I think people definitely appreciate it though, because you know we forget how many people just don't get to come to these things and have no clue what goes on. So yeah. All right, so I wanted to ask about pressure, I guess. I've been asking everybody about this because I think it's an interesting subject, and that is like a lot of, most people out there, probably think about going to locals, probably think about going to majors or whatever, but most people are online warriors, right? And then at some point they may or may not make a transition into sort of playing, and then they'll be on a stream, and then if they're really good, they're going to be in a really high pressure match. Do you have ways of dealing with pressure? Can you remember the first time you played in a pressure situation and how it felt? Or are you just like super cool and laid back and it's not a problem for you?
I think you will definitely get the jitters whenever you join a tournament until you join enough tournaments where you don't care or you just do it. I think if you want to go to a tournament, just do it because you love the game, right? Hopefully your scene is accepting and open, but most importantly, if you love the game and you want to compete, you don't even have to compete. Just try it out. Just go and see what it's like. I think it's important to like experience these things to get a better understanding of what people that go through majors go through, right? And people that even go to locals go through. Because if you don't go to these tournaments, right, you're gonna not know what they're experiencing and what going through their mind when they're playing a high pressure situation game. So the only thing I can say is like don't even think about it and just do it. Just do it, and that's how you can get most experiences in life.
So it's just basically at the end of the day, for you, it's experience. The more you do it, the more you'll be able to deal with the pressure situations.
Yes, 100%. Just do it. I mean, unless you can find a good reason not to do it, then I would say there's no reason to not do it.
Got it. Let's talk about Sakura and Blanka. So I know I just got all these questions and I just want to get through them. So what are your thoughts on those characters? Do you think, a threat, not a threat? I'm interested in playing them. I'm not interested in playing them. They're different from, how I thought they would be. Let me know.
Blanka's 100% hilarious because of the skin they give him. The doll costume plushie skin. But other than that, I don't think he's that great. He definitely does not play the one-player game. He doesn't do a massive amount of damage. Same for Sakura. Sakura could convert off a lot of things, but I don't think she plays. She's just cannot compare to top tier. When I look at this game now, whenever a character comes out, you just gotta realize are they top tier or not, because the game revolves around top tier. You could be mid tier, but you can do well with mid tier. But if you really want to like work hard, then you can work hard with mid tier, or you can try less hard with top tier. Sakura and Blanka I think are still unexplored, but there comes to a point where you can only explore so much before you realize this character is just not good enough. They are okay at best, I think, those characters.
Okay. And the new characters coming out, are you excited about any of them? You've obviously got 2 returning characters in Cody and Sagat. Sorry, I always pronounce it the wrong way. And then G and Falca.
I think I'm very excited for Sagat and Cody. Cody was a very, very fun character to play in Street Fighter 4. He wasn't exactly great, but he was fun, right? And he had a really cool theme where he's like in handcuffs because he wants to stay in jail. He was too strong without handcuffs, but that's his story. Who cares? But from what I can tell is Season 2 had really, really strong characters that came out, right? We got Manat, Kuma, Abigail. I think, was Gal Season 2? I think he was. I forgot. Was he Season 1?
I think that was Season 1.
Season 1, okay. Who else was Season 2? I don't know. Ed? Okay, not Ed. But anyways. Akuma, yeah. Akuma. Okay. But Season 3 so far, we don't have too many strong characters. So this trend we have here, I don't have high hopes. But I imagine Sagat will be strong. I imagine Cody will be fun. G and Falk, I don't know. So I'm excited to see new characters. It's always exciting to see new characters because there's always going to be someone playing that new character where you don't know what's going to happen. And you're excited to see if they're high tier, low tier, mid tier, fun. What costumes they're going to have. Because I was blown away about the Blanka costume. I was like, why does this exist? And then afterwards I was like, this is so hilarious. So there's always many exciting things that can happen when a new character comes out. V-triggers, costumes, anything.
Yeah, Blanka-chan was... Blanka-chan, they really scored a home run with that, to be honest. Like, Blanka was the character that no one was looking forward to, and then everyone was just like, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Yeah, they did a good job with that, I think. Fighting games in general, are you playing any other fighting games at all? Do you intend to play any other fighting games in the future? There's a lot of new ones coming out. you know, at a competitive level?
I like to give at least a fighting game a shot if it's new. I remember a while ago I was just playing fighting games. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a shot because I see them at the majors. They always like want to like promote their games and give it a shout out. I'm like, okay, I'll try Fantasy Strike. I gave that a shot. I'm like, that's not bad. Having fun. And then try Punch Planet. I'm like, oh, they're developing the game. They're adding new content. I'm trying it out. It's not bad. And then there's other games like, I forgot what they're called already. It's been a while, but I definitely give new fighting games a shot. I just tried the new Dragon Ball Z Fighters. Played that for a bit. It's not bad. Give it a shot. But ultimately, I'm very comfortable with Street Fighter right now. And it's very hard to juggle multiple games and a job.
Yeah.
And streaming and competing. But yeah, anyways. So it's really hard to try to focus on multiple games. But if I could play a bunch of different games and have fun. Yeah. But what I really want to do is just focus on something and just try to be decent at it.
Be brilliant at one thing. It sounds like you're super busy, but I wanted to ask you if you still have the chance to play. I mean, do you play other video games in general, like you know, to relax or whatever? And if you do, what are they?
So I like whenever a new game comes out, the one thing I need to look for is it a new experience, right? Or is it just another hack and slash? Okay. Or is it just another RPG? Right. So I have this Oculus Rift at home, and whenever a new interesting game comes out, I'm gonna play it because it's a unique experience that I'm like, okay, I've never played something like this before. Even if it's 10 hours, 2 hours, or 40 hours, I don't care. I want to see how different it is in a normal game. So I think I remember to play this game called Heavy Rain, which is mostly like a movie-ish, kind of quick time event-ish, make small decisions, make different outcomes. And that game was very like different, even though some argue it's not a game. I think it is a game, right? And then the next game they're coming out with, I think it's called Detroit, and I'm looking forward to that, and that's enough to make me buy a PlayStation 4, right? I bought an Oculus Rift because there were some VR games I wanted to try, and because I wanted to experience the VR thing. I even streamed VR because it was kind of hilarious. Yeah. And then Final Fantasy, the next one coming out. I mean, it might be another RPG, but I mean, I just want to have fun playing the games that I had like good nostalgia with. Yeah. So, yeah, of course. I mean, I do play games. It's just that they're kind of far in between because of how unique they have to be for me to want to try it out.
So do you find yourself like just because you don't have a lot of time, do you find yourself sort of getting the experience and not necessarily completing all these games, or yeah? Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel like when I'm streaming, I need to stream Street Fighter. Okay. And when I stream other games, then it's because I want to play other games. But I feel like I always need to go back to Street Fighter. And when I'm not playing Street Fighter, I'm playing other games. But if I'm playing other games and I'm not streaming, I feel like I should be streaming. Right? There's so many things I need to feel like I need to fit in my schedule that I can't. But I feel obligated to stream Street Fighter. I really shouldn't feel that way. So it's really hard to make that decision whether I should be streaming. Should I be streaming Street Fighter? Should I be playing new games? Or should I just be doing something else? It's hard for me to prioritize these goals.
Yeah, it's hard for everybody. You can't figure out what to prioritize. But your stream is definitely, you know, very popular. So I can understand why that's a big dilemma for you. Talking of, can we get a little window into your life? Are there other things that you're interested in, that that you're passionate about? You know, other interests, other hobbies, anything new that you've started doing? Could be anything: movies, anime, going to the gym, whatever.
I used to be part of a dance team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I'm always interested in dance.
What type of dance?
Hip hop, choreographed dancing.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't danced in a while. But I started taking Zumba classes because like I have to fit it in my schedule. I used to go to the gym like every other day, but then like I just started getting busy with Street Fighter and streaming. Streaming actually is like a huge like time devotion to it. So right now for me, so my schedule right now, right? You ready for this? Monday is I play Magic the Gathering with some friends after work. Tuesday I stream. Wednesday is Wednesday Night Fights. Thursday is gym and stream. Friday I think I stream, but it's like my day off. And then Saturday and Sunday, if it's not like some Street Fighter tournament or like some major I'm going to, I look for ways to either improve my stream or play a different game if I'm not streaming it.
Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah, That is a lot. So you don't ever get a day where you're just like, you know what, forget everything. I'm just going to lay in bed all day.
It's usually the weekends.
Okay.
But then at nighttime, I kind of do my homework.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so final question is the same question I always ask, which is there anything that you wish I'd asked you or a topic that you wanted to touch on?
No, not really. I just kind of want to like be able to chit chat and have a good time. Doesn't matter what you ask me. Just as long as you're chill, we can just like talk and understand each other, then it's all good.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. It's been awesome. And we'll say goodbye to these guys. See you guys.
Bye.